What it is, what it ain't. Welcome back to another video. As you guys saw in the prior video that I dropped, I mentioned what I'm doing. I mentioned what is going on right now with my build, and the time is here. All right, we are putting on the Hellcat Supercharger over this weekend. Today is Friday. It's around noon. I got a lot of my stuff within the business done, and I have dedicated my weekend towards getting this done. Okay, there's still a couple of parts that I'm waiting on to come in. Like I had to get a supercharger lid gasket because that one was blown. I had to get another gasket for the throttle body and one more. Those will be here on Tuesday, and I'm also waiting on a couple of wires for the adapter, a couple of wire adapters, okay? So I won't be able to get it all done this weekend, but I should be able to get most of it so we can at least get a start. Now, I'm gonna tell you guys this. I am the most beginner mechanic that you could pretty much have. I don't even think I should use the word mechanic. The most I've ever done on a car is change the damn oil. All right, I've changed wheels out, I've painted brake calipers, I've installed cold air intakes, things like that, but by no means at all, I am the most beginner type of person that's worked on cars, period. So I'm making this series to show that it can be done, but I don't expect it to be easy, okay? So I just wanted to show you guys what it's like for me to come in brand new into this car enthusiast journey, into my Challenger 5.7 with the supercharged Hemi build and drag race, right? I'm gonna be driving this car as a daily, I'm gonna be drag racing it. I'm actually thinking about getting another drag car as we speak, but that'll come later. But I wanted to kind of go over today, the first thing I wanna do is go over what we have here. So before I mention anything else, I wanna give a huge shout out to Burn. You can check out his YouTube right here, Crash and Burn. This dude has changed the game for a lot of us beginners that have no clue what the hell we're doing. He has a 3-video series showing how to do this conversion, how to take a Hellcat Supercharger and put it on a 5.7. He does his on a 2015 Charger RT all-wheel drive police build, and dude, he gets up to like around 600 wheel horsepower with just a supercharger, E85, and a good tune, okay? So I will be following his videos verbatim. This dude has helped me out so much. I've reached out to him, I've had a consultation with him. If you're thinking about doing this and you're a beginner like me, go hit that dude up right now, all right? So first things first, let's hop into it. What do we have here? So I laid every single thing out, pretty much 98% of everything that we'll need for this Hellcat Supercharger install. All right, first things first, we have the CFR Performance Conversion Kit, essentially, right? So everything that you'll need to be able to put this supercharger onto your RT or your 5.7, okay? Whether that's a Challenger, a Charger, or a Chrysler 300, or maybe even a Magnum, okay? So we have all the bolts and everything that you'll need to put on the adapter plates, which are what these are. 2 adapter plates so that we can actually take off the intake manifold and put the supercharger on. You have to have these, okay? Obviously, right beside it, we have the gaskets that go on top of that, okay? Once we get that installed, we have the idler pulley and the bracket here. So the idler pulleys, it's raining outside and windy like crazy. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But the idler pulleys and the brackets, there will have to be some cutting going on the metal front piece up here to be able to fit this idler pulley on, which you'll see later on in the video. We have the belt here. This is a smaller belt as we had to order a 2.85 inch Metco pulley, okay? So the pulley that comes on here, it doesn't line up with the belt, so you do have to order that Metco pulley. That's one of the things we're actually waiting on that'll be here on Monday or Tuesday. So again, this is the belt that comes with it. It's skinnier than just the average one I think that a lot of people recommend. This was something that was recommended by Bird himself. This is the crank pin kit, all right? And I'm not even sure what this is. I think this is like a little adapter for something, I'm not sure. But this is a majority of what comes in a CFR Performance Kit, right? This is pretty much everything that you're gonna need to be able to put this supercharger onto your RT, okay? 5.7, not 6.4, okay? Maybe it can work on your 6.4, but I don't think so. I haven't seen nobody use this for the 6.4 kit, right? 6.4s don't take a lot of boost on the stock end, but it's a great block to build on if you're gonna, build it from the bottom end, top end up. Okay. Now, what do we have over here? Essentially, we have cooling fan and everything that you'll need to mount it to the front of, the Challenger on the front bumper, inside the front bumper. We have the cooling unit, the reservoir, all the tubes and everything that go to that. We have the Steve White boost controller. This is pretty expensive, man. This was like over $600. And I'll list how much I spent on everything at the end of this, but this was a little over $600. All the wiring that goes with it. This is where I'm gonna struggle in this. I have no clue about wiring. There's gonna have to be some adapters motors and some relays that I'm gonna have to run towards the end of this that is gonna kick my ass, I can tell you right now. This did not come in this kit, I had to order this separately. So we have the coolant fan, we have the coolant reservoir, Mopar, we have the boost controller, Steve White, we have the water pump, again, some wiring we're gonna have to do here. We have the catch can. So, had to order this separately, this is about $70. Got the catch can, it is somewhere around here. It's back there. I painted it orange, and I also painted the supercharger lid orange as well. It looks good as hell. Also painted the valve covers. That's another thing that we had to order that was pretty expensive. You'll definitely want to order these off of Burn's website, crashandburn.com, I believe is what it is. And you'll go down and you'll see the valve covers there. They're actually making these specifically for the supercharger conversion for an RT, right? 457. So you'll want to order them from there. They ran me probably around 400 bucks. This stuff's expensive, you know, for newer cars like this. It's not like just an old carbureted, you know, car build where you could probably do all this for a couple $1,000s. Shit's expensive, not gonna lie. And so here's the gaskets that came with it. Here's all the couplers and all the pieces that go with it. I'm trying to think, am I leaving anything out? Yeah, this is probably, you know, 95% of everything that we'll need to get this supercharger put on and running. Now, with that being said, the supercharger's back here. I have the top lid off. I'm waiting on the gaskets. I have the throttle body off and I have the front piece off. I'm actually gonna end up painting this orange as well, if you guys can see. That's why it's all taped up. That's gonna be getting painted in between as we wait on those other parts. But yeah, man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So I'm bringing you guys along with me so you can see what goes on. I'm sure there's gonna be some headaches, probably because I hit my head on something. I definitely have a short attention span. I'm short on my patience. So it's gonna be hell. It's gonna be hell, I'm telling you right now, just because I'm a beginner, but hell, I wanna show you guys that if I can do it, you guys can absolutely do it too. So stay tuned and let's go ahead and get started on this thing. Okay, so first things first, we've got to remove this panel in the back, and I got to take these windshield wiper blades off. That way we can have more room, in Burn's words, for activity. And by the way, this is not a tutorial video, all right? Like, absolutely not a tutorial video. I'm just going to show you my journey on starting to do my own car work for the first time ever. This is something I've wanted to do since I was a kid and just never really was taught how or had the time. So it's pretty cool that I have the ability to do this now. I'm going to bring you guys along on my journey on this daily driver / drag build, and then I'm also looking at another drag car only right now, and that'd be more of a fixer-upper. So again, not a tutorial video. I absolutely am not qualified at all, but I'm just showing you guys the steps I'm taking to do this. So we're gonna take this panel off back here, and then we are going to take the windshield wiper blades off so we can start on this intake manifold. Got to get that shit off, all right? So let's do it. All right, so that was supposed to be an easy task. That shit took me like 20 minutes. I had to get all those plastic shits out of the way, and freaking wiper blades were rusted all to hell. At least the little bolts were, so I had to get that off. But should come off pretty easily now. And set this to the side. By suggestion of my pops, I'm actually labeling. I have like 20 small baggies, and I'm labeling every single one of those with the correct bolts that go in them and making sure I'm keeping everything separated, because I'm gonna have shit everywhere. And if I lose one thing or I break a bolt or something, it could be hell. So got that off. Now we got plenty of room to do what we need to do. Next, let's start on this intake manifold removal. So here it is, and I've cleaned this bay before, so it actually doesn't look bad, you know, to be a 9-year-old car with 140,000 miles on it. So I'm gonna take this sensor out here from the cold air intake, and I'm gonna remove this as well. And then after that, we'll start on the fuel injectors. Pulling the tab, pushing the tab in, pushing down and pulling out. And I have all those to do on each side. So first things first, I wanna take this one out. Be careful with it. Okay, yeah, that took care of that. And then we got this one where we're gonna push that up there. Sorry. It was down here. I'm gonna push it up and should be able to disconnect. I'm trying to do this with one hand here. Probably have to push down and pull. So you gotta push down on the button here, which is gonna release the harness off of there. Looking good, looking good. 2 for 2, 1, 2. Obviously you wanna protect that. That sensor is super important. In the cold air intake, I'll probably end up taking the cold air intake off anyway, because we have to take all this out, which is just releasing this coupler in this one and then raising that up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm gonna work on these injectors here. All right, cool guys. So definitely just unplugged all of the fuel injector. So all of these, so you had to lift these up, pull up on this, and then there's a little black part right there. You have to pinch and then bring. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side as well. Next, I'm gonna depressurize the fuel system, which is right there. Can we get in here? I have this on a pod, so I can't really, but right here, we're gonna depressurize that. We're gonna push down and then pull out. Make sure it's been over 12 hours since I've started the car, which is what is recommended. And then we're gonna do our brake booster part back here. We're gonna disconnect it somewhere back here. You'll be able to see it in the time lapse. So that's where we're at right now. And then after that, we should be able to take off the intake manifold. So yeah, a couple of bolts and whatnot. So let's get it knocked out and keep pushing along. All right, so I'm gonna put these rags up under here just in case there's any backed up fuel in there, which I hope there's not. Let's go here, put this here. And so I'm gonna push in on this, push down on that, and it should come out. So my camera battery died. I'm pissed because I got it off and it spewed up for like a split second and then stopped. I was worried that it was gonna continue to spew and I was gonna have to go mess with the fuse box or whatever, but it didn't. And yeah, it kind of squirted, pause. So that's disconnected. Let's go over and do this brake boost controller thing over here, whatever the hell it's called. And then that should pretty much be it. I think there's like one more thing over here I gotta do, but other than that, we should be able to take the intake manifold off. So it's gonna be this brake booster sensor in the back there, if you can see. Right here. This thing zooms in so much. You can't even see my hand, dude. My hand is here, but it's right here. Right there. Right there. See this? Right there. Struggling. That's what we got to disconnect right here. And then we're going to disconnect this solenoid that is right there. Oh, right here. The solenoid. And then there's one more sensor. So we did everything over here already. Here. Right there. And disconnect behind the intake. That. Disconnect that. And then we got the 10 bolts to get up out of here, and then we should be able to do it. All right, guys, all 10 bolts are loosened. 5 on this side, 5 on that side. Everything's disconnected, so let's see if she lifts. Oh, yeah. Okay, something is still connected. Seems like it's this right here. All right, got it removed, man. I damn near cannot believe that I did that. Like, no bullshit. Had to get this hose. This should be staying on the back of here. And then it was like clamped down to other ones. Not even gonna act like I know what this is. I said what it was earlier, but I've already forgot. The boost, brake boost sensor, or whatever the hell it is. Got it removed, man. We did it. It took about an hour. I was on the phone and got calls and shit coming in every once in a while. So, but we got it. We got it all removed. So next, I'm gonna make sure that these valves are cleaned and everything like that. Make sure there's not any kind of worn down gaskets on it. Get those covered while I put the valve covers on, the new valve covers. And then we'll put the gaskets on and the adapters and everything else and get that supercharger laid on there. Let's see if we can't get it done. All right, guys, so this is what we're looking like. It actually looks pretty good. You know, I've inspected it, you know, for it to be 141,000, 140,000 miles on this car. And, you know, for this, it doesn't look horrible. It is, I look down in here, shine the light. They look pretty healthy. Obviously, the gasket's damn near gone, doesn't even exist here. So I need to clean this up a lot of it. Scrape that stuff off, clean it up, wipe it down. Tape this, cover these with cardboard or with paper. Tape them down, and then get to this part right here. I need to cut this off that way that the pulley and the idler pulley will fit on the supercharger. So clean this up, tape it down, cover it, make sure nothing gets down there. Get to here, cut this top piece off, fan it out, and I'll use an angle grinder. That's actually what I bought this for. I'm gonna use an angle grinder, have the blades and whatnot over here. Boom. So those there, cut off wheel, and then make it smooth. So let's document it, let's time lapse it, and go from there. Should 1,000,000% have on protective eyewear, nice gloves, wrap this whole thing up. But yeah, I probably ain't gonna do none of that. Just letting you know. But again, this isn't a tutorial, so don't copy me. Bower, flywheel, right here. Kept the guard on to protect my fingers. I ain't trying to cut off a finger today. I'm gonna start right here and go across the top. I'm gonna make sure that I'm not cutting down into it, because once you cut down into the oil, you're done, it's over with. So I wanna make sure I can always do more, can't always take away. All right, so we got it taped down, threw some bubble wrap on top, taped it, make sure that those are closed and nothing's getting down in there. Haven't cleaned them yet. And then I am going to grab that angle grinder and get started on this. So basically, you need to take this down to damn near right here from what I've seen in the research that I've done. Also watching Burns' video, we need to bring this down to about right here level so that that idler pulley can fit in, right? So let's do it. Scratch that. Protective eyewear on, that's fucking stupid. The last thing I'm gonna do is I want to get metal in my eye. All right, so protective eyewear, 100%. right, we just finished carving this thing up. Dude, this has been my most, like, I have not enjoyed this part at all. That shit looked dangerous as hell. Definitely had to have protective eyewear. Threw some gloves on, but knocked it out. And I'm holding the camera all weird because it's on this tripod. But that is where we are at right now, man. So next I'm gonna take these. I laid all these down so the aluminum didn't get everywhere. So, and the dust and whatnot from cutting that down. Again, this is what I used here. Let me unplug it. Bauer cut wheel. This thing's super dangerous, man. Ain't no way I'd be using this if it didn't have this rail on it. I got those two blades. I got the cutoff wheel and the grinder is what took it down to make it all smooth so it doesn't get all, you know, it's not sharp. And now that's where the idler pulley can go. So next we are gonna go ahead and remove the bubble wrap that I placed over the valves and clean it up. And then you know the next part. The next part we are going to take those valve covers off with the coil packs and whatnot and put the other ones down. So let's get to it. All right, so I loosened all the bolts for the coil packs. So there was one here, one here, one here, one here, like 8, 10 bolts, something like that, as you can see. And then basically what you do is you click this up, boom. So like if I push it down, click it up, push in, and they should come off, and then the coil packs are gonna come out, as you can see. But for some reason, I can't get those two in the back there. And the same thing you do over here, you have to do over here before you take these valve covers off. So I'm gonna have to figure out if I wanna leave the coil packs on for those two, and then these other ones that are hard over here, or just stop being a bitch and have to get them off. So that's where we're at. We gotta figure out how to get these 6 off. So, all right, we're losing daylight and I gotta get some shop lights up. But finally got all the coil packs out, unbolted the 2 bolts that went on them, unplugged these on both sides. And now there should just be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts. Oh, well, nope. 10 bolts on each side, then we'll be able to take the valve covers off. I need to make sure these stay covered up. Yeah, so that's what we're gonna do now. And then we should be able to lift the valve covers. That bolt back there on the left side is no effing joke, I promise you. That one was easy. All right, I'm gonna fast forward this and show you when I get them off. All right, lack of light here, but we got the valve cover off. Had to pry it up just a smidge. I'm gonna see if I can pick this up while I'm holding the camera. Oh.